Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in the Miller Time segment tonight, seizing private property. You may have heard of eminent domain, whereby the government, federal, state, or local, can seize private property if there is a need for the public good, they say. Now, the government has to pay for it, but they can take it away from its rightful owner if the rightful owner won't sell. Coney Island, New York. City wants to redevelop the amusement park. There are 3 oceanfront tracts of land just sitting there. Owners don't want to sell. City says it's going to seize the land. Joining us now from Santa Barbara, the other side of the coast, the sage of Southern California, Dennis Miller. And you say?
Well, I thought it was the city first, Billy, but my sources on the ground told me, actually, Putin has seized that property. He's opening up a steakhouse out there called Crimea, and he just went in and took it because he knew we weren't going to do anything. I must say, out of all the things that you hear about that seem un-American, and there's some crazy things now that seem un-American, I can't believe we're funding, when you hear those baby stories on those tapes, it's
right.
Like that stuff is evil, some of that stuff. And then, not having a border seems un-American. But when you get right down to it, if you have a plot and somebody wants to put a coaster in and you don't want to sell the plot and they can take the plot, I'd say that's about the least American thing I can imagine. But, Billy, there's a precedent, right? Didn't the O'Malleys do this out here in L.A.?
If it's for the economic good of an area, like Coney Island, and by the way, Russians are all over Coney Island. I don't know whether you knew that or not, but Putin probably did seize them and open a steakhouse. There's Russians all over the place out in Brooklyn.
Wow.
But the eminent domain came in because of the railroads, and the railroads are going across the country, and then Farmer Gray had this big spread right in the middle of the tracks, and he's not selling. And they say, hey, we can't zoom the railroad around you 500 acres, we're going to take it. So, there are some places where that makes sense, but Coney Island, I think that's overdoing it. So he should tie it up, and they should tie it up.
Well, the thing that amazes me, Billy, is how de Blasio is so blasé, but you get guys like him or Sanders or old Dances with Donors, Elizabeth Warren, you get them near somebody else's stuff, they turn into wealth redistribution ninjas,
sure,
man. They are flying in from the ceiling, throwing ninja stars.
Right.
They are brutal, man. Fire ants.
Up in Washington State, in Mercer Island School District, very affluent group, the guys who run that operation have a hands-off policy on tag for the urchins, Miller. Now, tag, as Miller well knows, is you have to touch another person. You're it. If you have a hands-off policy, you can't play tag. And the reason is, and I'm quoting now, the superintendent says unstructured play deteriorated into name-calling, fighting, and injury during incidents last year. So tag has erupted into ISIS-like torture in Washington State, Miller. And you say?
Well, Billy, we're going to put these kids out, man, and they are in for a rude awakening because there's a real fecal storm out here in the real world at around 21 to 25. Nobody's playing these no-tag games out here. It is full contact tag. And in this country, with the unemployment figures, and I know they're going to say, oh, the rate's great. I'm not talking about the rate. I'm talking about how many people are out of it. And I think it's 94 million now. They're starting to play a game out here called You're It, I Quit. And they better get ready for that. They don't want your kid playing dodgeball anymore. They don't want him to get hurt. Like I said, do you really want to dump your kid out at 25 with no skills, no bruises, no sort of healthy
no life experience,
radar?
Right.
Yeah.
But the good news is the parents in Mercer Island have rebelled, and they're saying, knock it off. I want my kid to play tag, but they're going to play flag tag. So you got a little flag you pull instead of touching. So it's the wimpification of all the American children.
Wow, Billy, flag tag.
Flag tag.
I was watching the Secretary of Defense talk today about Russia sending us, they put something on an Etch-a-Sketch and sent it over to our thing and said, we're going to bomb some things today. And I heard him talking, the Secretary of Defense, and he said, well, this is all about deconfliction in Syria.
I know.
I said, no wonder the kids are soft. This is the head guy talking about deconfliction.
I know. You can imagine Patton saying that word. All right, there's Miller, everybody. Quick update on the Boulder Fresher shows. Phoenix at the Comerica, Chicago at the Rosemont, South Florida at the Hard Rock, all 95% sold out. Vegas, Charlotte, St. Louis, completely sold out. Info on all the shows, BillO'Reilly.com. You have to move fast. The show is a blast. There's tag in it.